Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vase, working with different time zones here. Kind of like Europe, right? Because I wake up, I actually get to sleep in. It's the middle of the night in the US, where the majority of my viewers are, so I don't really get a lot of messages. So it's great. Got to sleep in a little bit. It is 6 a.m. in New York. Makes it 11 a.m. here, so I definitely slept in longer than normal. Normally up like 7:30 a.m. New York time. So this is probably about the time I should be up. But um, so let's see here. Let me set up. Let me open up the live stream. I don't have anybody helping me, so that's the thing. Leah's still asleep. Tried waking her up, but didn't work. Leah's still asleep, and we are going to try to bring you a Bitcoin morning brief, maybe in about 4 hours. Coordinating with Jimmy, who's flying to Sao Paulo, makes it a little more complicated because I'm here in Ireland and I got events to attend. So not sure what time the Bitcoin morning brief is going to be, but hopefully maybe 10:30, 11 Eastern, so that like by noon Eastern, I can be off to do my thing because the conference actually starts tomorrow. Today is the events. All right. Anyway, I have the live chat going. Let's go to screen share. Wonder how many live people I'll have on. I don't have anyone helping me with questions today, so I kind of have to keep an eye on it myself. If you guys can do me a favor on the live chat, if you have a question, start with @ToneVase, because this way I get notified a little bit better. Or this might be the time to get your question in with a tip, because again, you need to catch my attention. If you don't catch my attention, I'm not going to see your question. I will be in Amsterdam. Jose, you're asking me about Amsterdam. I'll be in Amsterdam at the end of September. You'll see that on my workshop list. So if I go to my workshop list, London is going to get off the schedule this weekend. Montreal will get off the schedule the following weekend, probably after Berlin. So like once this thing gets moved up by one, you'll see Amsterdam. If you go to full schedule, Amsterdam's not there yet, so I need to add it. So Amsterdam is going to be the weekend after. I'm not sure if it's going to be a Saturday or a Sunday, but the weekend after Berlin is going to be Amsterdam, so I'll be there. Yeah, so the workshops. Oh, I wonder if London is already fully. Yeah, still one seat. It should be sold out any minute, so keep an eye on that. All right, let me move this over to here. All right. Yeah, you guys want me to get on technicals. All right, check out the affiliates page. If you guys like my work and like supporting my work, please check out the affiliates page. Lots of discount codes and lots of affiliate codes. All right, let's talk about the markets. Yesterday's video was really good. I almost never rewatch my own videos, but I rewatched most of the video that I did yesterday, including the QA part, because I just like, there was a lot of good stuff that I said there, and I wouldn't take any of it back. Okay, so here's the weekly chart. We're going right into price. I talked a lot about the oscillators, the MACD, the RSI. Also check out my Twitter. I started posting charts again. Okay, someone's asking about Vegas. I'm not sure what the whole Vegas thing is going to be yet. Someone's asking me if there's going to be a conference in Vegas. To sneeze again. Wow. Well, hold on a second. All right. I'll be right back. And I guess I'm a little allergic to pollen around here. Anyway, let's get back into it. I'm not sure what the Vegas is going to be yet. I'm still working on it. I'm still weighing a bunch of my options. But Amsterdam and Prague, that's for sure. End of September, Amsterdam, early October, Prague. All right, let's get back to the charts. So here's that weekly chart. And yeah, I'm off mute, yeah. I'm gonna drop the oscillators. I talked a lot about the oscillators the other day. Again, I am expecting, after the big fall last week, I mean, this thing continues to play out exactly like 2014, like exactly like 2014. So this was the big drop that got us under the 50-week moving average. Then we had a bit of a green week, and then we had another fairly big red drop, but not as big as the week that got us below the 50-week. And then we had 2 weeks of consolidation before a giant smackdown. And that smackdown took place on the 9th week of this downtrend. Notice that number 9 right there with a green arrow on top. Try to make that arrow bigger. There it is. Okay. So we had a bearish week after a green week after we dropped below the 50. 2 weeks of consolidation, and then a giant smackdown, followed by, you know, more downside to give us a low. I don't see why things would be any different this time. I just don't. We had a big down week that got us below the 50. We had a green week, and then we had another red down week. I am expecting this week to be more of a consolidation week, okay? So there could be some volatility this week, but I'm kind of expecting like the week has just started, right? So we literally have 7 more days to go in this candle. And I would not be surprised if this candle looks exactly like this 7 days from now. I also want this candle to be like this, right? The reason is because this is the number 5 of 9. And in order to get a 9, the first week of July would need to close lower than the current week. So if the current week takes you all the way down to below 6,000, that means the week of July 2nd would need to close below 6,000 to give us, you know, a 9 buy indication, which is very possible, right? But the higher current week closes, the easier it is to get a 9. The easier it is to get a 9, the easier it is for traders that understand the system to get a profitable trade off of that 9, okay? So you just have to keep all of that in mind. And so someone put a funny comment about sneezing causing a $1,000 drop in price. That was funny. So that's our current situation. So here's another thing that we can do at this point, right? I'm a big fan. I don't want to clutter the chart, so I have to draw this kind of carefully. Let me still make it a bigger chart. Let me do this. So now that, I mean, we need a bit of a bounce, right? But you can almost, and I want to do this on the weekly chart. begin considering to draw your symmetric triangle. So I'm trying to think where is the best place to do it. Maybe even here. Maybe it's a little tough. So you're something like this and lower like that. Oh, this is perfect actually. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Maybe the top of that candle and extend to here. Okay. That is a very nice looking symmetric, sorry, that's symmetric, descending triangle. Like that. Okay. You have two closing lows and one smack in the middle of a wick. Okay. And then you have two additional points in the middle. Now, can we rally back up and hit the top side before going down? Yeah, very possible. Okay. In which case, we would probably break the sequential. And if you break the sequential, you'll probably have to start a new sequential. Like I want that sequential to get me to a 9, to at least tell me that the bottom is in. Okay. So you have this triangle. I want to shade it very lightly here. Very lightly. I just don't want it in the way of my other TA stuff. So there it is, right? You have to be very mindful of this weekly triangle. Now, what is the target of this triangle? Well, if this is 6,500 and this is 13,000, that's a $6,000, $7,000 up move, which puts us at 0, right? So this is what happens when you have logarithmic scales. So obviously, we're not going to go to 0. Well, it's not that obvious, but I don't think we're going to go to 0. So, but you still have to be careful here, okay? So let's see how this plays out. So let's go to the daily chart. What do I hit here? F11? No. F11. Got it. Okay. So here's the daily chart. Let's zoom in a bit. Let's bring in, let's bring in all of my note annotations. There they are. Let's zoom in. Let's take a look. Okay. So what do these arrows mean? Well, I draw these arrows on all my live broadcasts. I don't really fudge with them. So this arrow has a little gap here between the line and the arrow. That means that once the price, if the price was to fall below this line, I expected the drop to accelerate. The price rebounded a bit, got to this line, which I expected to reject the price, which it did. And then once it gets down here below this line, I expect it to accelerate. Now look, you are on a 3 of 9 daily with a big volume smackdown, okay? And speaking of volume, maybe I should do this in Q&A. People said how this is manipulation. No, it's not manipulation, guys. You guys, man, like it's not manipulation when someone that has Bitcoin sells Bitcoin. That's not what manipulation is, okay? In that case, you and your $300 are manipulating the price because every time you sell, you drop the price. That's no different than a guy with, like a guy with 20,000 Bitcoin for sale should not, be accused of manipulation by a guy with 2 Bitcoin for sale, right? He has as much right as you to sell them as fast as possible because he doesn't like the price. So it's not manipulation, okay? It's not manipulation. It's not. You guys need to redefine what you think manipulation is. If I have a lot of Bitcoin and I want to buy Bitcoin lower and I can use my Bitcoin to crash the market and buy it lower. That's not manipulation. That's smart trading. You guys got to learn the difference. So you're on a 3. See what happens is, right? So I've been calling for, I've been calling for these drops. I know people are commenting on my bet with dark poke. The bet with dark poke was literally made like right when Bitcoin was near 10,000. So I'm certainly only $700 away from winning that bet. It's a bet I wish I lost. Like, I'd be a lot happier if we went from 10,000 to 100,000 and then paid Doug the $10,000 I owe. It would have been so much better for me and my life savings. But anyway, so because you go down so quickly in one day, it creates these possibilities of bounces. Because remember, when you go down this far in one day, let me go to the 1 hour chart. Actually, I'm gonna go backwards here. Here's the 1 hour chart. So last night, the low was like the closing low until a few hours ago was made on an hourly 9. Because you go down so quick, and remember, how do you trade the sequential system? You trade the sequential system, you would enter your shorts when a red number starts trading below the prior red number. So your short entry would be here. And here on a price flip, you would probably get scared and get out to cash. You would then try to short again here because that's when a red number started trading below a prior red number. And you would probably get scared and get out on a price flip. You can consider going long on a green above a prior green, but I wouldn't risk it in a bearish environment. So your next shorting opportunity on the hourly chart is here when a green 2 starts trading below the green 1, like there. Maybe a smidge lower. Whatever, let's not move pennies here like that. Okay. And well, what do you get out? Well, in this case, there was no price flip. So you literally get out right here on this candle or the candle after or the price flip. Like you get out at the bottom, right? And now, once again, you had a red number trading below a prior red number, but you got to be careful here, right? Because you're dealing on a 13. So here's another green arrow telling you, hey, you know what? Like things are bottoming here because but now, like if the price of Bitcoin on the hourly chart goes below, I would pick the best fit line here, probably this. If we go below this, I am bearish again, okay? So, but I'm not surprised that Bitcoin is consolidating because we had a big fall. The hourly chart got grossly oversold. I can promise you that. Here's the CMF. You see how as we're consolidating at the lows, the CMF is trending up. OBV made a spike low. And if I put in, you know, RSI and MACD, I'm sure they're stabling out, right? Leveling off here. So I would, I'd let it play out because I think it needs to consolidate a little bit longer. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour chart. The 4 hour chart, I tweeted this out before I went to bed last night, telling you, hey, you really got to watch out here on the 4 hour chart because the 4 hour has finally completed a sequential 13 from May. We already had the combo 13 and we already had the aggressive 13 from this 9 here. The only thing that's left is 2 more candles of sequential from this 9. But if we go much lower, we'll kick off another sequential to the downside. But I said that this 9 could bring about a 1 to 4 candle correction. Now, the 9 itself slowed down the decline. The candle after gave you a new closing low, but the current candle is trending up. So you got to let this 1 to 4 candle correction run its course. Now, the correction it's the correction of the fall. So a 1 to 4 candle correction of the fall could simply be consolidation. So give it maybe 8 more hours, and then you will see some kind of movement, right? So you have to factor all of this in. Now, as far as the 4-hour chart is concerned, the sequential system told you to, look out here, and hey, if you missed it, plenty of time to go there. Now, I would have really felt the acceleration the moment this low got taken out. The moment this low got taken out, I mean, look, you don't have to catch the move from here to here. All you have to do is catch this candle. That's what smart trading is all about. You got to do is catch this candle. That's it. Happened to be the sequential 13 candle. Okay. And this 9 told you that, hey, like it might be coming with an end. So you have your hourly gave you a 9 and is giving you, it didn't really go up much, but it's consolidating. Your 4-hour gave you a 9 and it looks like it's consolidating. What's going on a 12-hour? Well, 12-hour is on a 7 for another hour and a half, right? So, and by the time we do the Bitcoin morning brief, we're going to be on candle number 8, which is still inside the 4-hour dead cat bounce / consolidation zone. So there might not be all that much room to the downside on the 12-hour chart either. And I mean, I don't believe in double bottoms or double tops, but I do believe that they do hold the price short term. I don't think we're going to go all the way back up to the $8,000 area. I think that ship has sailed. But can we rebound back to the breakdown level of 7,000? Absolutely. So we can certainly bounce back to the $7,000 to $7,300 area, the area of the breakdown. We can certainly go up, and we can do this as of tomorrow when the 12-hour chart reaches its 9, and then it does a 1 to 4 candle correction or consolidation. Now, the 4-hour correction will probably run its course. Can we get one more smackdown on the 12-hour 9 itself? The answer is we absolutely could, because the daily is only on a 3. So it's possible, but right now, I would give it a little bit of time. Maybe I would give it another 12 hours or so, like 8 to 12 hours, to let it consolidate and then see. Because remember, the 12-hour, if I open up the sequential and I display the setup numbers, right? In order to get a 9 on the sequential, all we have to do is 25 hours from now, close below 72.35, right? So the price can easily bounce back to $7,000 and still be in line with the sequential system calling for a reversal of the 9, but the reversal would have already happened, okay? So this is what happens when you have like these giant smackdowns. And the 5 candle was an expanded candle, but we went so much further on the 6 candle that there's now so much room here that, and this is what people don't understand, and this is what people criticize, right? Like the tweet that I sent last night, I really don't know what the next 12 hours are going to be. They can be down, they can be up, or they can be neutral. And no matter which one it is, I'm going to be right with the sequential, because there's just so much leeway right here that even if it bounces $500 to the upside, it's still called the downtrend perfectly, because there's just so much room for a dead cat bounce. And that's what traders need to understand. And if you can't properly trade this type of environment, then you don't trade. You should have, as a trader, profited from the drop. But at this point, you may want to stay away. You may want to take your profits. You may want to re-enter your short if we start dropping, or you may want to re-enter your short on a pullback to 7,000, or just let the consolidation play out and then see which way we're going to go. Like, you're supposed to pick your trades based on probabilities. And right now, the probabilities can be anything and still in line with the technicals because of the big drop that we just had. And that's what people like. This is what inexperienced traders just can't comprehend. The fact that you don't know what's going to happen, and you actually never know what's going to happen. But clearly, I was pretty certain that we're going to go below 6,000, or I would not have made that bet with Doug Polk, who I like, by the way. All right, I don't really have anything else to say. Let me look at gold. Gold price flipped, so we never got that elusive 9 unless we go lower than 1290, which would be nice. The NASDAQ is, again, here is the daily NASDAQ. It hit a 9 on a daily NASDAQ. And here is your consolidation, 1 to 3 candle correction, and probably back up as of tomorrow. This is Monday, right? So as of today, maybe tomorrow, should go back up. Here is the weekly NASDAQ. Now, the weekly NASDAQ is only on an 8. So this creates a bit of a tricky situation where the daily can start to go up, making new highs, and then get smacked down next week because the weekly is going to be on a 9. Here's the S&P weekly, and I have an 8, and the 9's coming tomorrow. So tomorrow tomorrow there will be a 9 on the weekly. All right. So we'll see what happens there. And this is S&P. Oh, I got to refresh. This is S&P daily. And we're only on a 6. But we've broken the setup trend line. So potentially 3 more days of upside, 1 to 4 candle correction, back to new all-time highs. Very bullish the stock market here. Very bullish the stock market. But I've been bullish the stock market for longer than you guys knew about my existence. Corey, thanks for joining, man. Yeah, go back to sleep, dude. It's 4 a.m. by you. I'll handle the questions, don't worry. Okay, so I got a question here. So why do I think Bitcoin, it kind of dies below 1,000? Because I think below 1,000, it's hard for me to argue that the mining system will be functional, right? Because I can kind of make the argument that at a $2,000 price of Bitcoin, there'll be enough miners that, you know, maybe it'll be good for some miners that know what they're doing. There'll be some miners that say, hey, you know what, maybe we need to put a bunch of capital and investment into lower forms of energy so that our mining is profitable. And then we make a shit ton of money when Bitcoin goes back up. Like there is enough things that could sustain Bitcoin at a price of 2,000. Also, the slower we drop, I guess I can turn my camera on at this point. Let me do that. Let me stop screen share for a minute. So, so if Bitcoin slowly goes down to 2,000, then if miners start getting offline, the difficulty would adjust down slowly. But if the Bitcoin price drops very, very suddenly down to like 1,000, and a bunch of miners go out of business, it makes it very difficult to find the 1,400 blocks or whatever number of blocks that you need before the difficulty adjusts to the downside. And you could end up in this really bad cycle of miners leaving the system and difficulty not adjusting downward fast enough, making it really difficult to find blocks, creating this like self-fulfilling cycle of pain. And I think it's dangerous for Bitcoin to be below 1,000, but I think it's perfectly reasonable for Bitcoin to come close to 1,000. But below 1,000 is when I start to get nervous. So as long as Bitcoin stays in 3 digits, I stay confident in a Bitcoin long term. The same thing, I said the same thing back in 2015, 2014. As long as Bitcoin stays in triple digits, I remain confident in Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin was to fall to double digits in the 2014 bear market and stayed there for more than a few hours, I would have gotten very, very nervous about the future of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin stayed in the 3-figure range. This time around, I want Bitcoin to stay in the 4-figure range. It can come as close to 3 figures as it likes, but I will not worry about the infrastructure of the Bitcoin ecosystem until, as long as it stays in the 4-digit area. Now, the next time we get a bubble, I would probably expect us to potentially go into I would expect us to go into, getting close to that 6-figure range, right? The next time we get a bubble, I'm expecting, 50,000, 100,000, as close to 100,000 as possible on the next bull run. And when that bull run corrects, I'm going to be saying the same thing I said in prior bubbles. In 2014, I needed Bitcoin to stay in the 3-digit range, and it did. In the current bear market, I need Bitcoin to stay in the 4-figure range. And the next bear market from, let's say, 100,000, I'm gonna need it to stay above 10,000, right? So when we're falling from 100K, people will hate me then too. Like, imagine it's 2022 and everyone hates me because I'm calling a bear market from 90,000 down to 20,000. It's the same thing, just another fractal. And I would need it to stay above 10,000 because I'm going to say that I'm going to be a parrot. I'm going to be like, hey, below 10,000, I become very, very nervous about the Bitcoin mining infrastructure. Someone's saying Bitcoin under 1,000 will bring the mining back to the average people. Perhaps, but most people are lazy. And most people mine for profit. And you're not going to have any profit mining Bitcoin under 1,000, especially as a retail investor. So you're really mining for, what do you call it? To support the ecosystem. And most people are lazy. Just think about it, right? Like, how many people are running their own full nodes? And you'll have less people mining, right? Like, running your own full node is a lot easier than mining, a lot. And very few people run their own full nodes. No, that's incorrect. So ZHH said, mining difficulty decreases when a total hashing power decreases to make sure blocks will always be mined within reasonable time. No, that's incorrect. Mining difficulty decreases after X number of blocks have been found. And that number isn't trivial. It's like 1,000-something blocks. I forgot the exact number, right? I mean, you can Google this, right? So you need to find over 1,000 or even 2,000 blocks. I don't remember, right? You need to find 2 weeks worth of blocks, right? So do the math, so it's 6 blocks per hour, 24 hours in a day. So 6 times 24. So that's about what, 150. So it's about 150 blocks per day for 14 days, right? So so 150 times 10 plus about half of that, right? So it's about 2,000 blocks. So you have to find 2,000 blocks, and then the difficulty gets lower. So if hashing power is constantly leaving the network, making it longer and longer to find the next block, you're increasing time between blocks, making it a lot harder to find your 2,000 blocks. So if a lot of hashing power gets off the network quickly, making it harder to find a block, causing more hashing power to get off the network, making it harder to find a block, causing more hashing power to get off the network, right? It can literally take like a year for a difficulty adjustment. Now, when that happens, it'll be a monster difficulty adjustment. And then all this mining power will come back. It'll be like the Bcash insanity that took place when they launched, when they were changing the difficulty every 6 blocks. And so every 6 blocks, their difficulty would be a lot harder or a lot easier. So it would be like insta-mining really, really quick. And then boom, no one wants to mine until you slowly find 6 blocks. And then it becomes so easy, they insta-mine the hell out of it. And then it's easy again. Or they were like adjusting in one direction faster than the other, or they did something stupid, right? But they did it on such a compressed time scale. This would be the opposite of that. Like the adjustment would be huge, but it's going to take a really long time. So this is what you don't want. Now, some people will say, well, a solution to that would be an adjustment to the difficulty adjustment algorithm, right? So I'm sure Luke Dodge Jr. will be the first to he wants to change the proof of work algorithm now. So someone would say, hey, what if we change the algorithm in order to adjust the difficulty faster? But now you run into this who controls Bitcoin land. And if Bitcoin can be so easily changed, that's a problem, right? So that's more loss of confidence. So if people get together and try to artificially solve this problem by changing, maybe we shouldn't wait 2,000 blocks to change the difficulty. Maybe we should change the difficulty after 20 blocks because this is happening. Now you're running into Bitcoin is too easy to change and too easy to control land, losing confidence in Bitcoin as a store of value. So there's really no good scenarios here. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm not going to keep this going for too long. I am going to do another one with morning brief. It's about 7 a.m. New York time. Hey, Leah's awake. Hold on. There you go. Let's see. Maybe she'll join. One second, guys. Trying to organize when the morning brief's going to be. All right, let's get back to this. How many live viewers do I have? Ooh, 900 at this time. Wow. Guess it's a good time to do shows. Let's get back to your questions. Oh, I got a tip. Let's see what you got. Oh, and thank you. Thank you for all the scam shout outs. Useful technical analysis. I'm buying Bitcoin at discounted prices. Get yourself a pint of Guinness. No, I already had a pint of Guinness. I can't drink any more Guinness. I'm not supposed to. I can't even work out anymore. Well, I kind of could, but I'm lazy. Like if I'm not at my own gym, it doesn't really work. I got a question. Any plans to do shows on the stock market and maybe even current real estate market? Oh, That's the thing. There's only so much time in a day, guys. I would love to, like, I would love to have time to review the stock market stuff. Why is my camera not in focus? There we go. Like, I want to do more traditional stock market stuff, but like Bitcoin is just consumes all my free time, whether I'm awake or asleep. All right, what else we got? If you have fiat to invest and if Bitcoin goes to your $1,300 target, would you think great, once in a lifetime opportunity to buy Bitcoin on discount, or would you freak out to invest? Okay, so the majority of the people would actually freak out to invest. Now, the majority of the people holding Bitcoin into 1,300 are going to freak out and panic and sell, which is what's going to give you $1,300 price to begin with. Now, that's a really good question. It's a really good question. Let's explore this some more. So I'm going to miss the next couple of questions. Let me read the next question because I'm probably going to lose it. Let's see. Do you think it's a better strategy to sell all of your Bitcoin during a bubble and simply just wait in case of the perfect entry during a crash? I can't answer that question, unfortunately. It's up to you. I am holding all of my Bitcoin through this bubble because it's too A, inconvenient, B, dangerous, and for me to sell it, and C, I incur major tax implications, right? Like, as long as I don't sell my Bitcoin, I don't have to pay taxes. Once I sell my Bitcoin, I have to pay taxes. So it's not much different in the stock market, right? Like, if you're holding a bunch of stock and you want to defer paying taxes on that stock, and your time horizon is 10 years, why are you going to panic sell, incur tax liabilities, only to buy back without any guarantee that you're going to get to buy back lower? So for tax purposes, it's very non-advantageous for me to sell. At least I should have moved to a better tax jurisdiction first, even move out of New York, for God's sakes. You guys realize that if I sell Bitcoin, I have to pay like a 45 or a 50% tax on that? Like, and I have to be absolutely right that it's going to fall more than 50% in order for me to make up that difference. And it's just not worth it to me. If I mistime it, even by a week, I can lose money on this transaction. So I might as well wait and move residency to at least a Florida or a Texas, where my tax penalty is 30% and not 50%. At least that helps. Or move to Puerto Rico, or my tax penalty is 0, right? But I haven't done those things. Yeah, so anyway, I'm not going to get into that. So let's talk about the panic of 1,300. Let's go to screen share. Okay, so, and it's a good question, actually. I really want to talk about this. So let's go back to the weekly chart. It's important. And I'm going to magnify this. I'm debating if I should drop all of the annotations because they're cluttering the chart. I think I will. Let's drop all the annotations. Oh, much cleaner. Beautiful. Okay, so here is the deal, right? Let's assume that this is the 20, I'll make it full screen. Let's assume, can I make those arrows bigger? No, that's fine. That's okay. Let's assume that this is the $20,000 top, okay? Let's assume that this was the $6,000 low. And let's assume that this is the upcoming $5,000 low that I've been calling for. And that makes this the $1,300 low that we could get later this year. Okay, we're doing this faster. So if we do get 1,300, I'm thinking like November, December or something, or maybe January. It doesn't matter, right? Let's assume that this is 1,300. Let's pretend that this is the current move of Bitcoin, right? So we hit 5,000 in a couple of weeks. You know, you bounce back up from 5,000 to, let's say, 6,500, or maybe even overshoot to 7,000, settle at 6,500, the level of the breakdown, and then you set off on your capitulation, the ultimate capitulation, into 1,300. Now, notice this weekly candle. We would hit 1,300, and let's say this is 150, right? So let's say 150 or almost 110 is 1,300, okay? The close was at 215. So what is 150 to 215? That's from, so just, like take out a calculator and do a ratio, right? If 150 equals 1,300, then what is 215? So my guess is 215 is over $2,000, right? So we swing to 1,300. People panic. We go back to 2,000, right? But look at what happened next. It's the equivalent of staying between 2,000 and 3,000. You see how we went up to 318? And then we went back down below 200, right? So we went back down below 2,000, right? So, and this lasted when? This is the first week of January, second week of January. And we broke out the last week of October. So let's say the first week of November, right? Guys, this is 11 months. 10 months. 10 freaking months. So it's probably going to be a little bit faster. Let's say it's not 10 months this time. Let's say it's 8 months. You may have 8 months of time to buy Bitcoin between $2,000 and $3,000. The question is, do you risk your life fiat savings trying to buy this wick without knowing if Bitcoin is going to even survive the next 12 months? Or do you wait up to 8 months longer? In the case of 2015, 10 months longer. The optimal time to buy Bitcoin is right here at $300, or the futuristic equivalent of $3,000. But you don't buy it for $3,000 on the way down, right? Like, here is a line. Let me, it's hard for me, man. Like, I don't know if I'm talking to like experienced traders or like, here's your like little Mendoza line right here. Oh wow, I have a line. I guess I'm gonna overdraw it. You know what? I don't really need this if I'm gonna replace this line with a much thicker line, right? Here's your $300 line, 315, right? Let's say in our future, over the next, I don't know, 12 months, this is the $3,000 threshold, okay? Though if I'm saying this is 5,000, it kind of, but, just think about it, right? But let's say this is your $3,000 threshold, okay? You don't want to buy it here because you got a problem there. Like, you don't want to buy it when it gets to 3,000 and then watch your position lose 50% of its value over the next 3 weeks. You're going to panic. You have all this time to buy. This is the, where's that George Salmon article? That 8-month area is the depression, okay? You made your low, your capitulation and your despondency take place here, in this area here. Like, this is capitulation. That is probably your despondency point in April, when you couldn't break back out and you started to go lower. Granted, you didn't go back under 200, but this is where people gave up hope. And the next 6 months is where depression sets in, when you think that Bitcoin is never going to go up again, okay? And then you eventually reach hope. So hope happens here. And guess what? Is that where the halving was? I think this is where the halving was, right? So hope comes in here. See this breakout of this line at 415? This was the halving breakout, right? The halving took place in, I don't have it listed on this chart. I have it on a daily chart. The halving took place in July, early July of 2016. And we might, stumble into the next halving, guys. Might stumble into the next halving. That will be a huge breakout for the next halving. But the point is, to answer your question, okay, let me drop the annotations again, and let me go back to full screen. To answer your question, do you go all in with your fiat if this point corresponds to 1300? The answer is most people won't. Some people clearly did, but you don't have to. And the reason why you don't have to is because it's a much smarter trade or investment to put all of your fiat in this area here when your moving averages have crossed over and started trending to the upside. Immediately putting your money in the profit, and you went from $300 all the way to $20,000. So the equivalent in the future would be maybe getting back in at $3,000 per Bitcoin on the upswing, and watch your $3,000 Bitcoin go to 50,000, 100,000, who knows, before this whole cycle repeats itself, okay? So that was a very long-winded answer, but I really hope you guys understood it. All right, let's see what else I got. Oh God, when am I going to do my next time analysis prediction? You know what? In July and August, I am mostly back in New York, and I'm going to try and do more time analysis stuff. No, I don't think Doug is pissed at all. Pretty sure Doug can afford 10 grand. I don't think Bitcoin is, okay, this is a good question. If hashing power leaves Bitcoin, Bitcoin becomes vulnerable to a 51% attack. I don't think so, for multiple reasons. Because I don't think anyone actually wants to attack Bitcoin with 51%, unlike, Verge or Btrash, or like nobody wants to attack Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin gets attacked with 51%, then all of crypto dies. If you attack, Verge or Dash with 51%, you're just going to make more money. Like, there's a big difference there, right? There's a big difference attacking with 51% and profiting, and attacking with 51% and losing, okay? Okay, so someone says the 4-hour chart in 2014 got a 9 on the 12th of August and dropped further 19%. Sure, I can go and take a look and tell you how to think about that situation. So let's go to 4-hour? Guys, no, I'm not going to take a look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour, anything 4-hour gets trumped by the 12-hour and the daily and the weekly, right? So there's no point of looking into that. Sorry. It's a bit of a long question. Apparently, the only institutional investors that can really trade Bitcoin are hedge funds. That's not true at all, right? I mean, you got a bunch of whales in the crypto space. I mean, guys like Trace Mayer. I mean, he probably has as much as a medium hedge fund, There are plenty of individuals with enough Bitcoin to rival hedge funds. So that's not true at all. And there are plenty of individuals with $200 million just sitting around, and they can easily trade Bitcoin on their own. So Roger Ver is another one, right? If he still has all that Bitcoin, he rivals a medium hedge fund. So that's not true at all that hedge funds are the only institutions. No, I don't really care to answer that question either. Compare Bitcoin mining to Chinese dumping of steel to eliminate the competition. Chinese are willing to mine at a loss for a period to eliminate the competition. Well, that's not like that. Let's not generalize the Chinese. I mean, this applies to anyone, right? I mean, this applies to your babysitting business, right? I mean, if you start a babysitting business in your neighborhood, you can also you can undercut other babysitters or dog walkers and drive them out of business, right? Let's not blame the Chinese for this practice, the general practice. And maybe not, because remember, Bitcoin has this self-fulfilling dynamic where if you drive too many other miners out of business, that's not going to bring you more business. You can't just like raise your prices later because no one will trust you. Okay. I don't know which alts are going to capitulate first because I haven't thought about it now, nor do I want to. What's your view on Bitcoin being a backwardation versus contango? I don't really have any thoughts on that. I got a tip, so you jump ahead of the line. I'm the one who asked the question that led to the longer answer. Thank you, Yams. Are ETFs on the cards? Not this year, maybe next year. My best guess after the next halving, so after 2020. I don't want to see $100 Ethereum. I want to see a $1 Ethereum. Any chance of a video with Andreas Antonopoulos? Maybe, like, I thought I was going to see Andreas Antonopoulos at a conference in San Francisco, but the conference was canceled. Next time I'm at the same conference as Andreas, I'll see if he wants to do an interview. I mean, I don't really know what Andreas thinks of me and my work. So I'm being distracted by text messages. I don't really know. I mean, I like Andreas. I don't agree with him on a lot of the multiple blockchains in the future and some of the altcoins stuff. But like, I'm in agreement with Andreas like 95%. So he's smarter than me as well. That helps. And certainly more accomplished in the crypto space. And so we'll see. Also, I'm not sure how interesting that conversation would be, right? Like, I don't really want to piss off Andreas by asking him like really challenging questions. And he's not into trading. So I'm not exactly sure how to make that conversation really, really interesting. But I'll do my best. I'll have him on sooner or later. What's the main reason DGB was created? What's DGB? Is that Dogecoin or Digibyte? Is that Digibyte? No, Digibyte didn't fix anything. Digibyte was created for a couple of people to get rich. It's the only reason why it was ever created. And now it's just being pumped for more people to get rich because they were able to buy it during the 3 years no one gave a shit about it, right? Someone says all the bullshit TA guys are getting hammered by their followers. Look, I get hammered too, right? I mean, if the majority of the TA guys were bullish, yeah, they're gonna take some heat. I mean, let's see what else we got. Any opinion about the U.S. bank interest rate going up may affect Bitcoin and stocks? No, not really. I believe that interest rates are generally uncorrelated with the stocks. Or I know it's a crazy thing to say. I don't have time to elaborate. I don't think the interest rate is all that important because interest rate changes fairly slowly and the markets adjust to the interest rates. I will say that as interest rate rises, bond holders will start to lose money. That would force them to sell their bonds because they're losing money. And now they're going to be sitting on cash. And what's the smartest thing to do with that cash? You put it in the stock market. But other people will see a higher interest rate and they're going to say, hey, I'll take that interest rate, and they'll buy new bonds, right? Oh, if your wife wants you to buy more Bitcoin, that's a very amazing wife. You want to hold on to her. Most of the stories I hear is the other way around. If it took a long time, oh, this is interesting. If it took a long time to adjust difficulty, then wouldn't it be harder to move Bitcoin to sell it? The answer is no, because most Bitcoin gets sold on exchanges and it's not actually changing hands, right? Because if you have 50,000 Bitcoin sitting on Bitfinex, one guy selling that Bitcoin to another guy, that Bitcoin doesn't actually go to a block. It doesn't need to be confirmed. It stays at the exchange. It's a lot harder to sell Bitcoin on the street. It becomes harder to sell Bitcoin from me, but it doesn't affect the dumps on exchanges that are doing the price discovery because they don't need on-chain settlement. And guess what? Lightning, not going to need on-chain settlement either right away. Channels aren't going to close every block. So think about that. Yeah, I'm catching Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, you guys are like in the craziest part of the world. I can't wait to go there though. Australia in November, guys. I'm going to try and spend the entire November in Australia. Well, no, Canada is much better, right? Because if you're a Canadian and you, let's say, move to another country and you can show some residency there and a job there, you don't have to pay any taxes. Canada's great. Canada doesn't charge you on global income. US does. Hey, another tip. Thank you, Anno. How long the bear will last and how long will we stay at the bottom? I want to know when should I reinserted my apps. Well, I don't know. I don't know how long the bear market is going to last. My best guess, and it's just a guess, we will make the ultimate low late September, early October. That's my best guess. It's also possible that let me rephrase that, right? My best guess is that late September, early October, we will begin the upswing, right? So I foresee this area here that you see, like the, I think the current bear market will play out twice as fast as the 2014 bear market. So the 2014, see the actual drop, I turned off my annotations, but the actual drop, the ultimate high in 2013 took place at the end of November. The ultimate low took place in the beginning of January. So that's 12 full months plus December plus a week on each side. So that's 13 and a half months of falling prices. Then I would say from that time of mid-January until late October, it was stagnation at the bottom, all right? So we're already dealing with 13 and a half months. You add 10 months on top of that, which means that the bear market plus the desperation, plus plus the annoyance of getting stuck at the bottom, the entirety of pain of after the 2013 bubble was 2 years. 2 years. Now, keep in mind, the 2013 bubble was bigger in percentage terms than the 2017 bubble, right? The 2013 bubble went from $12 on January 1st up to $1,200. That is 100x move. The 2017 bubble, let's even start the 2016, right? Even if we go from 2016, not even in 1 year. So in 2 years, we went from approximately 300 up to 20,000. So from 300 in, or you know what, let's do early 2016, right? So from 400 in early 2016 for 2 years, minus a month, right? For 2 years of upswing, we went from 400 to 20,000. That's not 100x. That's only 50x, okay? Now, if you only count the 2017 bull market, in 2017, we went from approximately $800 to 20,000. So from 800 to 20,000, that's about 25x. So that's even half of that. So you see how the bull market in percentage terms was a lot lower, right? So it wasn't as big of a bubble. So because it wasn't as big of a bubble, even though it was a little bit slower, I think that we're going to play out the full pain cycle, not just the bear cycle, but the full pain cycle in maximum of 1 year, which means sometime in early October, I expect us to start to trend back to the upside, slowly at first, quickly after, right? Now, what I don't know is, will the ultimate low be made this summer, or will the ultimate low be made in September, October, right? Like will the ultimate low be made tomorrow, or will the ultimate low be made at the end of the year, right? But again, this is my best guess. I can't tell you when I think the bull market is going to start until I see signs of the bear market ending, or I see signs of the stagnation after the bear market ending. Now, we don't have to have stagnation, okay? It's very possible that we're gonna bounce off the low and go straight up, okay? Like the stock market did in 2009, okay? There's two types of way things bottom. They bottom quickly and go straight up and no one believes it. Or they get stuck at the bottom where people get sick of the asset, okay? I don't know which bottom we're gonna have. We can, get a bottom next month and then stagnate into the end of the year, or we can get a bottom in October, like a bottom to 1300 in October. And by January, Bitcoin is at $10,000. I don't know what's going to happen. Just taking it day by day. All right, got another question with the tip. Thank you, Joe. Let's see what you got. What do you have to say to those that bought during the $20,000 rally? It's easy to say hold when you bought Bitcoin in the early stages. Well, I had a friend, I'm not going to say the name, you know who you are, you're probably watching. Had a friend bought a bunch of Bitcoin around $1,000 at the end of 2013. And he was pretty frustrated in the middle of 2014. And I told him to hold. And he held. And the reason why he held is because he had other money, right? Like he didn't he didn't need to sell for the money, right? So he held. When did he sell? Well, he held. I told him to hold. And somewhere in the price of Bitcoin of $1,500, where I was the biggest bull in the world, guys. If you remember this time period, it's the time period where Vinny Lingham was calling for lower prices and everybody was bearish. Everyone was afraid of the hard fork. Everyone was afraid of Bitmain. The ETF got rejected in early 2017. Bitcoin was just above 1,000. And I was telling everyone, this is going to be the biggest bull run ever. I was the biggest bull in the world. And my friend sold. He held for 3 years his $1,000 Bitcoin until it got back to this area. And then he sold. He did buy back in a little bit later. But the point is, if you bought Bitcoin as a long-term investment, you hold it. If you bought Bitcoin at 20,000 as a short-term investment to make some quick money, you deserve to lose your money. So you're going to panic. I believe it's worth holding. I believe it's worth holding. I would hold. Let's see what else we got here. All right, I don't want to. Yeah, we're gonna do another video soon. I'm not gonna. I guess I can keep going with this forever, but. I think there is not enough Bitcoin versus demand to dump to 1,300. A quick flash crash to 3,000 at a speed no one will catch is the bottom, while the floor will be 4,000 waiting for the double bottom. That is very possible. Very, very possible, guys. So let me read this again. I didn't realize it was going to be like this useful. I think there is not enough Bitcoin versus demand to dump to 1,300. A quick flash crash to 3,000 at a speed no one will catch is the bottom, while the floor will be 4,000 waiting for the double bottom. Very possible and reasonable. And I would be very happy with that. And you can say the same thing about 5,000, by the way. You can say the same thing about 5,000 versus 6,000, right? 5,000 is the flash crash and 6,000 is your base. As valid as flash crash to 3, base at 4. Equally as valid, flash crash to 1500, base 3. All equally valid. MC, I totally agree with your period price readings, but I disagree on the time scale. All things will happen a lot faster. What is your opinion? Well, I just explained how I also believe that things will happen a lot faster, which is why the total pain of 2013 bubble was 2 years. And I believe the total pain of this era of 2018 is only going to be 1 year. I'm just not sure how it's going to play out yet. I got another tip. Thank you, Paul. TD sequential on the 4-hour on August 14th, 2014. Yeah, but it's a 4-hour, right? My problem isn't the TD sequential. My problem is the fact that it's a 4-hour chart, right? Like, here's my 4-hour chart. I have the sequential on there. I can go to, 2014. You said August, right? And now I'm in 2018 again. So 2014 August. Four-hour chart. August 2014. Oh, wow. I have lots of annotations here. Interesting. You see this giant triangle that I have drawn? Right. So we were falling out of the triangle. Probably wrote about this in an article. August. Let's see. Right, so we're falling out of the triangle. We have a target of about 120 down. We just missed that target. We hit that target or close to it. You said August 14th. August. I mean, here's August 16th. Right, so here's August 14th, right? So you had a combo 13, you hit a 9, and then you went straight down. Remember, those of you that attend my workshops, you will hear me say, oh, I got another tip. Let me see what this is. Oh, thank you, no question. Alex, ask a question. See, you see it right here in my chart, and I drew this back then too. Guys, I've been doing this a long time. Chart patterns trump TD. The break of this symmetric triangle on trumps the sequential on all time frames. My priority for taking on risk is the shape of the candlestick, chart patterns like these triangles, and sequential comes in third. So it's almost irrelevant unless if I got a 9 at my target of the chart pattern here or here, I would take that 9 very seriously. But getting a 9 as we're breaking out of the triangle, expecting this as the target, I'm going to completely ignore it. Not to mention this is a 9 on the 4-hour. What was the daily doing at the same point in time? Like, or even, well, let's go to the daily. Well, actually, I'll go to the daily on the other side, right? So this is August 13th, 2014, right? So here's the daily chart. So if I go to, 2014, I know it's in June, but all I gotta do is find August 14th, same triangle, guys. Same triangle, daily candles. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it's just 12-hour candles. Fine, 12-hour candles. Oh, look, that's a much better 9, isn't it, right? Like, here is your 12-hour. Here is your August 14th, 4 hours. But look, your 12-hour was on an 8 of 9. And your 8 gave you the low, and there was your 9, right? So your 12-hour told you that there was still plenty of downside. And now if I go to the daily chart, and I go back to August 14. Oh, not where I wanted to go. Okay, let's look at what the daily was doing. Well, look at the daily, right? The initial drop was only a 4 of 9, and look where the 9 came. The candle following the ultimate low on the triangle target. This is the 9 I care about, the daily. The daily trumps the 12-hour. The 12-hour trumps the 4-hour. And the triangle breakdown and target trumps all sequential. Okay, there it is. Go back to the Cointelegraph article where I wrote about the break of this descending triangle in real time. It's on Liberty Life Trail somewhere in publication section. Wrote that article the day of, I believe, or something. Like, I think I published like a day later. Like it was unfortunate. When you publish articles once a week, it's really hard to time the perfect day. But this is the 9 you want to trade. And look at this 9, a perfect 1. Well, if you count this candle, 1, 2, 3 candle correction. And then boom, back to the downside. This 9 kicked off the countdown from this 9 ended here on the aggressive, ended here on the sequential, but you had another 9 leading to a 1 to 4 candle correction, kicking off yet another countdown. This is where the combo from that 9 finally closed, got you on the ultimate low of the move. Oh, I'm sorry, not the ultimate low. We went lower than that, but got you the October low. There was another 9 here, followed by a beautiful reversal candle, huge wick. Remember where I said yesterday, you see this red volume? That's not red volume to me, that's green volume. The reason why this is green volume is because the majority of this candle is the wick under the body. That means there is lots of buyers stepping up on the combo 13 on a candle following a 9, and boom, we go to the upside, and guess where we reverse? Right off another 9. All right, this is why I really like the sequential. Here is yet another 9 right here on this upswing, reversal candle, 9, beautiful, going down. All right. So there you go. There's your recap of sequential through memory lane of spring or fall, I should say, of the bear market of 2014. Well, I probably missed a million questions. Oh, noob. Thank you for the tip. In a currency I'm having trouble recognizing. Maybe Indian rupee? Not sure. Let's see what you got to say. What do you think about the monthly MACD, which is about to cross? Would it go negative like NASDAQ Composite in 2002? I don't know. I really don't know. Let me see what the monthly chart looks like. I haven't looked at the monthly chart in a while. Do I have a monthly chart? No, it's Mt. Gox. That's not very useful. Oh, I think I know what I need. I think I have my monthly chart as BLX. The reason why I don't use this index is because it's not real time. It's on a 24-hour delay. So it's an end of day. So it's not all that useful. Monthly, you're on a 4 of 9. So what does that mean? And this is June, right? So 5 is July, 6 is August, 7 is September, 8 is October, and 9 is November. So it makes sense that we reverse around October, November. So here's the monthly. And by the way, on Mt. Gox, there was a 9 the month of the November 2013 bullish top was a 9 on a monthly chart on Mt. Gox. And I think maybe 1 or 2 other exchanges. All right, let's take a look. All right, so where are we? Again, like here's the RSI on a monthly chart, and we're here. We are here. All right, it's not that different. Not that different, okay? Only we're a little bit higher there, okay? Now, this was the ultimate low on the monthly RSI. So that's plenty of room there, okay? Let's see the MACD. Yeah, that's not good. So where are you on the MACD? Well, on the MACD, you are the first notch to the downside, right? So on the MACD, you are here, which is, guess what? Again, August of 2014. This is your first notch after the crossover. You know, do I think we will make it below the 0 line? Probably not. The MACD has crossed, you know. The MACD is a very lagging indicator. Like compare the MACD, which crossed last month. The MACD crossed in June. Oh, wait a minute. This is June. Right, the MACD crossed pretty much in May, right? Now the RSI, when did the RSI get out of the bullish condition? February. So your monthly RSI did a much better job getting you out of Bitcoin and in than the MACD did. Oh, guys, and I keep forgetting to mention, in September, I will be speaking on a blockchain cruise, assuming I can afford to get on an airplane to go to Spain. And it's out of Barcelona. I'll be speaking, you know, trying to get a few other really cool people to become speakers here. Really, really cool. I have no idea if the entire ship is going to be crypto people. The one that we did in Asia, about a quarter of the cruise was crypto people, which I kind of liked. But we'll see what happens on this one. And once again, if you like my work and you like to continue getting all my free stuff, please support by using the affiliates section. And you can get 50% discounts on VPNs, 10% discounts on BitMEX trading. I don't think TradingView gives you a discount. I'm actually not sure it's an affiliate code. I think that was my code that I was supposed to join. I haven't had time to look into it. But hey, I have no problem with Bitcoin Live. They're all good traders. Buy the dip, discount, a little discount. If you have friends that need to learn what Bitcoin is, please reach out to Julia Turiansky. And Cryptomatic Series 3 is going to come out soon. I can't wait. So check that out. All right, back to questions. Thank you, Andres, for your tip in Mexican pesos. Let's see what you got to say. What do you think the upcoming cold card hardware wallet from OpenDime? Are you pre-ordering it? Thanks for your stream. I've been so busy. Like, I mean, so selfish here. Like, I've been meaning to pre-order the cold card I honestly think Cold Card will be the best hardware wallet on the market. I need to go to Toronto, and I'm just gonna knock on Rodolfo's door, and I'm gonna demand that he sells me like 50 of them. I really like everything that Rodolfo Novak and CoinKite do in the space. Open dimes are cool. I have a bunch. And I am really, really, really looking forward to Cold Card. I plan, I have not pre-ordered, full disclosure. It'll suck because I'm gonna have to pay him retail. Okay, there's a reason why I didn't pre-order. I don't like people knowing where I live, and I don't want to ship these things to a PO box internationally. I try to avoid all connections to Bitcoin in my reality. So I will buy a bunch of Cold Cards, but I would literally go to Toronto and I will hand him and I will like pay for them in person, right? I'm just I just don't pay for things online with Bitcoin that require me to use A, my name, and B, my address. So it's just something that I avoid. So I have, that's the only reason why I have not pre-ordered them. And I pay a big penalty for this, right? Like I've never used purse.io. And when I had to buy, let's say $1,000 or $2,000 computer, I am giving up a 30% discount by using Bitcoin to maintain my full anonymity of my Bitcoin. I will give up the 20 or 30% discount on Cold Cards by not pre-ordering in order to maintain my anonymity of Bitcoin. Like, I think that your Bitcoin anonymity is the most important thing that you have. And to me, my Bitcoin anonymity is worth more to me than 30% savings or the 50% tax penalty that I would have to incur. So while people may call me an idiot for not selling Bitcoin at the top, as I've been calling for this bear market and making a lot of money, to me, my Bitcoin anonymity and the anonymity of my Bitcoin is a lot more important than how much fiat equivalent money I have a claim on. So that's the reason why I don't buy things that require me to flash my identity. Now, I'm more than happy to pay for anything with Bitcoin that doesn't require your identity, right? Like VPN service, trading view account, like anything where the most they know is your email. I'm willing to, I'm happy to pay with my Bitcoin. But no, I am not going to be paying for my airplane tickets flying from country to country with Bitcoin. But that's me. Like, you guys aren't me. Everyone has to make their own decisions, right? To me, my anonymity is worth more than a 30% savings. So I'm planning to buy the Cold Cards, just not in the pre-order. I'll pay full retail once they, the next time I go to Toronto. All right. Oh, how do I get rid of this now? There it is. Okay. I'm probably missed a bunch of stuff. This is why when you tip with your question, a lot more likely that I'll see it. I think I should end this. This videos go on forever. Yeah, the stream is getting a little long. All right, guys, and I want to take a shower as well and read articles, or Leah's gonna hurt me if I don't read the articles she puts together because she does a lot of work for our morning shows. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a morning. It's not even morning anymore. It's almost 1 p.m. here in Ireland. It's almost 8 a.m. in New York. We're gonna try and do the morning brief, which aren't even that brief these days. We're going to try and get that out to you in about 3 hours. So come on back to my channel, and we'll do a Bitcoin morning brief in about 3 hours from now. All right. Good luck trading, and see you all on the next one.